Hey everyone, it's Sarah here from the Lodge. I wanted to jump on quickly to expand on one of the questions I get asked a lot inside of my coaching and consulting that I do. Um, and to be honest with you, if you have taken part in any of my sessions, you know that these types of meanderings often lead to more questions. So perhaps that's a warning for those of you who are looking for answers. It's a warning that answers are sometimes hard to find here. So with that, the question that I wanted to quickly chat on is this. What is the difference between grief and loss? The overly simple answer that I have for you is that loss is the cause and grief is the effect. Super simple, right? But if you have ever experienced a loss, then you know that it's never that simple. So after spending some time really trying to understand and provide a framework for what loss is and even what grief is, I've thrown away the idea that there's a framework at all and have decided to come upon really four truths. So I thought I would tell you what those truths are as a first step to understanding the question. Number one, loss and grief are experienced so differently by every single person that there are as many different loss experiences as there are people in the world, and the same is true of grief. Uniqueness is key. And our presence with the uniqueness is important. And number two, this one's a little, maybe may come off as a little strange, but follow along, walk this way. Loss doesn't always happen, doesn't only happen inside unhappy events. Loss doesn't only happen in unhappy events. Loss happens inside of growth and expansion too. So some connector examples. Our kids leave to go off to school, university. Growth and expansion and loss. We get married. Growth, expansion, and loss of independence. So loss doesn't only happen inside of unhappy events. Loss happens inside of growth and expansion too. Okay. Number three, grief can be felt in so many micro ways throughout our life that it often takes a really big loss to open the floodgates for all those little micro losses to escape to. COVID is probably the best example I have that's most relatable for most people. So we went through COVID, and even me, sit at home, work at home, travel a bit, felt the weight of COVID. And I felt the weight of it not only while I was going through it in little ways, but when I came out of COVID and I stood in a mall for the first time, there was this rush of emotion that happened. Um, A, I was happy to be around people again, but B, I can't imagine being around that many people again. So there's this wax and wane, this grief that I have to be around people again, and this joy that I get to be around people again. So it takes these micro experiences, and we bottle them up in so many ways that we often don't feel them until something really big happens, and then it all comes rushing back to us, right? So I'll just repeat it again. Grief can be felt in so many micro ways through our life that it often takes a really big loss to open the floodgates for all those little micro losses to be able to escape to. The last one is probably stuff that we've heard before, but it's probably the one that you're going to have the most questions about. So, the fourth one is grief. When it is unburdened from the spells of our culture, is love. That's a big one. So we could probably talk for about 25 years on what the spells of our culture are. And we can continue to go deeper and deeper and deeper into that. But in a very thin way, an example of a spell of our culture is that we get over it, that we need to be strong, that we just need to keep going, that we just need to let it go. Those are all spells. And if we release ourselves from those burdens of having to live up to those spells, and we actually break all of those spells off of ourselves, we unburden ourselves from them. If the only thing that is left is grief, we will know that the only thing that is left is love. And before you say, no, I'm left with nothing, I don't have love anymore because it's gone, I would love for you to check out my post on my other video, and maybe I'll post it in the link below. And it's called From Love, Not For Love. Okay, so when grief is unburdened from the spells of our culture, what is left is love. Is quite profound, actually. And with that beautiful image held in our heart for just a moment, and if we travel back in time and we go back to the original question, what is the difference between grief and loss? My answer is, tell me about what you've lost. Tell me about what you grieve. And it is in that telling that we will begin to understand. Yeah. Thank you. And I'll see you soon. Bye.